Basically, we used primitive data types. Primitive data types were used. They are not objects. They are not objects, and since they are frequently used, in the program, right? So they will be, since they will not occupy more memory. Since they are frequently used, they won't occupy very much memory. So that is why primitive data types are not objects. But Java provides a class for all the primitive data types, so that if you want to make an object of these data types, you can make them, right? So Java provides classes for all these primitive data types. It provides classes for all these primitive data types. These classes are known as wrapper classes. These classes are known as the wrapper classes. We call these classes as the wrapper classes. Now, these specific classes, right? We have 8 wrapper classes, right? If we want, right, we can make object of these classes and use them as the normal data types only. Okay, so we have 8 wrapper classes. They are as byte classes. First name will begin from capital letter, byte short, integer, long, then we have float, double, boolean, and we do have character. So these are the 8 classes. When we use these classes, the data type will be in object format, right? When we use these classes, the data type will be in object format. The point is, why should we use them and where should we use them, right? Why should we use wrapper classes? Why to use the wrapper classes, and where to use the wrapper classes? Why and where, right? Basically, there are many operations, such as when we will talk about collection framework, right? In all these operations, we cannot use primitive data types since they are not objects, right? We cannot use primitive data types. So at that time, when we want to use primitive data type as objects, we can use these wrapper classes. So at any place when we want to use primitive data types as objects, we can use wrapper classes. At that specific time, we can use the wrapper classes. Now, all these wrapper classes, we can have all these wrapper classes, and these wrapper classes also contain some set of methods, right? These contain functions. These contains functions for manipulation, for certain manipulation of the data type. Means, for example, integer class will contain certain set of functions by which you can convert string to integer. You can find the maximum value of integer. You can find the minimum value of integer, right? So you can perform various operations on that data type, right? So wrapper classes also contains some set of functions using which we can manipulate that specific data type, using which we can manipulate that specific data. We can easily manipulate that data type, right? So wrapper classes provide those kind of functions. Now these all, let's see these wrapper classes. Example, converting string to integer, or string to float, or string to float, right? Or string to double, or string to double. Finding maximum and minimum value of an integer, right? We can easily use all these things, right? And basically whenever we want to convert from string to any primitive data type, we can use parse method, right? To convert a string data type into any primitive data type, that is like integer, like int, float, or double, we can use the parse method. Example, parse method is like parse int, right? We have parse float, we have parse double, right? These are present in the wrapper classes. These all methods are static methods, that is, we can call them with the class name. And these all methods are the static methods. We can easily call them with a class name, right? If we just see, I'll just make an integer, wrapper classes, integer I is equal to new integer. Integer I is equal to new integer. Okay, we have this. Now if you just see system dot out dot println I, just go for I. If you just run this, it is 10 normal. What are the methods present here? I dot, if you can see, this is byte value, you can convert it into byte, you can compare it, you can convert it into double, you can convert it into float, you can convert it into short, and all those things, right? Apart from that, integer class, the integer class, integer dot, if you see, get integer, then parse int, reverse integer, reverse bytes, rotate left, to hex string, to octal string. We can convert it into hexadecimal also. We can convert it into binary, and we can convert it into octal also. Let's convert it into binary. Okay. We can just go system dot out dot println s, and if we just see it's 1010. It's quite correct. It's correct. We can easily convert. So it has certain operations, and if you see parse, now I'll just show you an example of parse. So string s is equal to, let's say, 79. This is in string, right? This is string, and I'll convert it into integer, like system dot out dot println. So integer dot parse int ss plus 10, let's say. So I have just converted into integer and added 10. So it should be 89. If you just see, it's 89. In other ways, I cannot add anything to a string, right? If I try to add anything to string, it will concatenate it. Means it will be like 7910. This will be the answer. If you just see, if you just try to do this, system dot out dot println ss plus 10, because this plus, if it is a string, it will combine two strings. If it is integer or float, it will perform operation, right? This is known as concatenation operator. So if you just see 7910, it is combining. Since it is a string, it cannot perform operation on it. Since it is a string, it cannot perform any operation on it. Just write down that it also contains methods. It also contains methods for converting a number into hexadecimal, into octal and binary, right? We can find maximum of an integer. Just see, system dot out dot println integer dot max value and system dot out dot println integer dot I can just go for integer dot min value, right? Okay, and you can go for system dot out dot println integer dot size. You can find the size also, right? And if you just see, it is of 32 bits, 4 bytes. This is the maximum value of integer and this is the minimum value of integer, right? Correct? So this is the maximum value of integer and this is the minimum value of integer. Right. So this was about wrapper classes. Now a wrapper class can also you can also use this wrapper class as I is equal to 30. See what I am doing here, I am providing a primitive value to a wrapper class. Means I am converting primitive value into object. So it will be known as boxing. Right? This is an example of auto boxing. Automatically a primitive data type is converted into integer. Right? Okay. So here, and this time if you see, system dot out dot println I, this is 30. This is 30.